What is going on, everybody? Andrew Frazier here, founder of DogiZone, and today I am joined by George and Jessica, two of our amazing trainers here at DogiZone. Great to see you all again. We're back.
We're back.
So, yeah, it's great to be back on here. Last week we had a visitor, and so it's great to have you both back again. And it is the Pet Poison Prevention Awareness Month. I'm not sure how many people knew that that was a thing, but I think it's great because unfortunately there's a lot of dogs that are lost to getting poisoned and ingesting things that ultimately are extremely dangerous for them. So our goal for this evening is to really show you how to make sure that your dog never gets poisoned. And to do that through teaching you how to make sure that your dog's properly managed, they're not chewing things that they shouldn't be chewing, and that they're not stealing things that they shouldn't be stealing. And through avoiding those two things, we believe that there's a lot that you can do to prevent your dog from ever being poisoned by something. So yeah, definitely not a fun topic, but one that's absolutely necessary for every dog owner to hear. Whether you're an experienced dog owner or whether you're a brand new dog owner, I believe that hearing about this type of thing is extremely important. And if you've heard it once, you should probably hear it 2 or 3 times because, as we always say in dog training, repetition is the mother of skill. And so the more that you hear something, the more it becomes natural to you. And ultimately, we want you to be really good at identifying things that could be potentially dangerous or fatal to your dog. So we will dive right into things here. And, you know, as I was kind of mentioning before, we think that a lot of, dogs getting poisoned can be avoided. And a lot of it can be avoided through teaching them not to chew things up. So one of the questions that we commonly get is, like, how do you prevent the dog from chewing stuff up, right? Stopping the dog from chewing something isn't really that great because the dog has already chewed it. So how do we prevent it? What are some of the ways that somebody can avoid it from just ever even occurring? Because I know myself, I'm guessing you all are probably in a similar position. Like, you don't experience a lot of really destructive behavior with your dogs, do you?
Not at all.
Yeah,
Not at all.
Kind of what I figured. And so there's a secret that we have, right? And it's a tightly guarded secret, but we will share it with you tonight, which is how to make sure that it just doesn't happen. So what do you guys think? I mean, how do you look at preventing destructive chewing? What do you suggest?
Jess, you want to go? You want me to go?
Yeah, go ahead. You're already talking.
Well, giving the dog the access to the appropriate things and things that are more attractive to the dog than the wrong things. That's one. Supervision is another. In our home, we have constant conversations with our dogs. Like, rarely are they without us being aware of what they're doing. Even though, it's not like we're being stuck in the room, but we're very aware of them. If one of them disappears a little long, we're going to be on that. So that supervision is so important, and that's where most problems arise. You'll find out you weren't there and were unaware, and then you have a problem.
Very well said. Jess, what do you want to add to that?
I would say we have to teach them what we want them to chew. So part of it is taking responsibility for your personal belongings. There's everything. I mean, if you walk in the foyer of our house, there's a shoe rack right there. There's, an umbrella. There's multiple things around. So if we're not going to necessarily take responsible for our items, we have to then go through and supervise in those moments. So give the dogs toys that are clearly distinguishable to the dogs from your personal belongings and household items. George said supervision. That's absolutely 100% correct. And give your dog plenty of physical and mental exercise. because that's what they need when they're doing destructive things, which we'll go kind of into that in a little bit. You want to be able to work mind, body, and then make sure that you're just managing everything.
Yeah, that's spot on. So as you both were talking, there's something kind of came to mind for me, which is not something that I've actually mentioned in training for a little while. And it's funny, after 15 years of doing dog training, like you just forget stuff that you learned and you did in the beginning. And George, I can't even imagine what it's like for you. You have that happen like daily. Yeah. You're like, yeah, I forgot that I used to teach that, and it's gold. It's really good. But when it comes to destructive chewing, you really have to look at what is your dog destroying. What are the objects that they're destroying? What are those things made out of? And get an idea of what it is that your dog is inclined to. And then I would really take a hard look at what is it that you're providing your dog as a chew toy.
True.
For example, should you have rawhide as your dog's chew toy, and you find that your dog is chewing on a lot of leather chews or leather couches or leather products and purses, you might want to take into consideration that the dog may be experiencing a little confusion. That may have a similar scent and texture to it that causes the dog to be more apt to go to that type of thing. So it goes for even probably plastics too. I mean, and there's a lot of different types of plastics. And geez, I got a baby that's 3 months old right now, and the toys are very, very similar to some of the plush toys out there. So that's a real thing. So I think that that's a pretty important factor to take into consideration. I think more often than not, this type of behavior really comes in when the dog's not getting enough exercise and stimulation.
Yep.
Like you said there, Jess. Labradors are bred to be very mouthy and to go and retrieve and pick things up and use that mouth. And we wonder why they would chew something up sometimes. And it's like, hold on a second here. What are we doing to really provide that dog that physical exercise outlet of retrieving, which is what that dog was bred to do? Or maybe not that it was bred to do, but it is inherently bred into that dog. So that being said, anything else you guys want to add to this?
Yeah. How about Uncle George's 3-word cure?
I was waiting for it.
Yeah. Okay. So your dog's chewing the wrong stuff. Here's your 3-word cures. 1, pick it up. 2, put it away. 3, if they chew it up, get over it. 4, you blew it. 5, try it again.
There you go. Well said.
3-word cures.
That was like 6 of them. That was awesome. That was awesome.
Yeah.
But it's so true. I mean, usually it is kind of our fault at the end of the day, and we got to take ownership over it. It's really easy to just be frustrated with the dog and upset by what they did. I know that can be an expensive habit depending on what your dog prefers to chew.
Yep.
I had a client not too long ago, probably 2 years or so ago now. Dog loved to eat TV remotes.
Jeez.
Yeah, Comcast charged them for every single one of those remotes, and I'm pretty sure that they went through at least 10 remotes. I mean, it was absolutely insane.
Well, you mentioned a moment ago the expense. The object chewed is expensive. The surgery to get it out of the dog is probably 10 times more expensive.
And
so
you're so spot on. And to just add to that, George, when you have a dog that chews things up to that point, they get to the point where they're, really ingesting stuff, they're getting practice. So they are more and more likely to repeat that behavior again. And, we have several clients over the years who came to us where their dog's been through surgery multiple times because of the fact that the dog is, swallowed stuff, and it just seems like it keeps perpetuating. So I think that dangerous problem, expensive problem, and something that's avoidable too. It is avoidable, and I understand that everybody's got different circumstances. So, not to try to make anybody feel bad about it, but we do have a responsibility to keep our dogs safe,
Right.
Because they are living in our world. And so I think that that's just something that we have to kind of keep filed away in our head. We are kind of their guardian, and we are responsible for them and their actions and behavior. At least in my world, that's how it is.
Another thing too, you mentioned like the TV remotes and things, small electronics. Those batteries can actually, I've seen this with my own eyes, they chew the batteries, and the batteries contain, like the old ones are lead acid. They burn the dog's throats and bellies. These new lithium ion ones are like outrageous. They can actually start fires if the dog chews it up, and they internally short. They won't even let you fly that stuff on airplanes because they like to blow up. So there's so much to be said for that supervision and Uncle George's 3-word cures. I mean, you got to be on top of it. If you wouldn't let your child work on it, why would you let your dog work on it? You know, so.
Yeah, and we won't go down the rabbit hole of management, but we say it every single week: contain, restrain, or train that dog. And if you're not doing one of those 3 things, then you're asking for trouble. So, well, let's move forward from the destructive chewing, and let's talk about proper chewing. And somebody's probably thinking to themselves, proper chewing. What is proper chewing? Well, there's a couple of different types of chewing that are really destructive. Here's Vader. This is my dog here. He is quite a goofball. And in this video here, he's properly chewing that toy. He's just kind of mouthing. Could you play that again for us? So when you see here, he's just kind of mouthing it, chomp, 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 chomp. And this type of chewing is generally not a real destructive type of chewing. Generally your toys will last a pretty long time if that's how it is that they're chewing. There's 2 different types of chewing that are ultimately extremely destructive. And we're going to show you in a minute here exactly how it is that you can train your dog to chew properly. We get people that tell us all the time that their dog destroys all of the toys. And it does take a little bit of patience and supervision, but you can teach your dog how to chew properly. And so, Matt, why don't you throw up some scissor biting and some picking. So you can see here in this picture, Vader's got that toy kind of deep back in his molars, right? He's got it all the way in the back of his mouth, okay? When they get stuff back there, they kind of do it. It's called scissor biting, and it just cuts through pretty much whatever it is that they're chewing on, especially if they're chewing on a plush toy or something like that. You can see here he's got it deep back in the corner of his mouth. That's your scissor biting. When you see that type of thing, if you just remove the toy from the dog and the game ends, they stop being able to play with that toy. If you do that consistently, they'll start to learn that the action of scissor biting it causes that toy to go away. The game ends. Okay. There's also picking, and picking is where they use just like really just white. You know what I mean? Yeah. They start picking that, and if you see that he's using the front teeth, and we might have a little audio difficulty there, but the picking is their front teeth, and they grab a hold of stuff and they kind of pull at it, and they'll generally just rip things apart from picking at it. So if you can take the toy at those moments when you see them picking or scissor biting the toy, they'll start learning pretty quickly, hey, that ends the game, and I should probably stop doing this. Any other tips that you guys want to add in surrounding how to get the dog to properly chew the right things? George.
Yeah. Something I was just teaching this tonight to a puppy client. The proper chew toy should be a toy the dog has little or no chance of pulling any part from it. So the Kong toys, the Nyla bones, the Star Mark stuff, very difficult for the dog to take a piece. So, like for instance, I don't give my dogs a plush like that to work on. We will play with them. We have lots of them. We play and we tug, and I'm sitting right there. But when that's over, that gets put away. One thing people need to understand is with these plush type toys, every single dog is genetically predisposed to kill and gut prey. So it's perfect practice for them to get a hold of that plush little whoopee bear, open that up and pull them guts out. That's a natural thing. That's how dogs eat in nature. So it's not, it's not foreign to them. And what you exercise gets stronger. So that's an instinctual drive most dogs have. Another thing I'd say about the plush type stuffed toys is this. You all have pillows and couch cushions and all sorts of things that are stuffed, and the consistency is not that different, and you got the added benefit of them usually being loaded with your scent. So when that dog's chewing, he's releasing scent. He's going to use his Jacobson's organ, and he's actually tasting that scent. So that's a desirable thing to chew on, is like a pillow, if they can get to it, because when they're doing it, they're getting this satisfaction and this payoff of it being mom or dad's smell. It adds to that experience. So again, I don't leave that stuff out for my dogs, and we use retriever rolls because they've been taught how to chew those correctly. We got Kong toy stuff everywhere, but I don't let dogs chew on the plushes. Now, what Vader was doing in the first video, perfectly fine. I'm going to play with my dog with that. I'm going to throw it, let him pick it up. Labrador soft mouth anyway. They love that stuff. But I'm not going to go take a shower while he's got that.
Yep.
So.
Jess, anything you want to add?
I think the only thing I wanted to piggyback on that George says about, anything like the Star Mark toys, Kong, there's a new brand out that I don't remember off the top of my head. But dog toys such as the balls and Kongs, they appeal to a lot of the dogs, but making sure that they select a size that's appropriate for the dog.
Yep.
When you get something that's, too small, like Raven's not going to use the Kong that Buck generally uses because she could completely ingest that, chew small pieces off of it. And so as a safety protocol, just making sure everything's the appropriate size.
Yep. Well said. And, there's always the choking hazard with toys, which I think is a relevant one. Most toys, a lot of the dog toys have holes in them. And that's so that they, if they were to get swallowed, they don't, fully block an airway or things like that. So if you've ever wondered, why do all these toys have, a little hole in them? That's a large part of the reason. But yeah, proper toy, proper size, proper density for, the dog. I mean, these are all really important things. This is something that I actually really love to talk to people about, like different types of dog toys for whatever reason. Probably just my past experiences talking to me, but I think that the Nyla bone is probably, in my opinion, my favorite of all of the true chew toys. Toys that can. I would leave a Nyla bone with my dog, given that it's the right size and durability, which they come in a few different sizes. And no, Nyla bone doesn't pay us to say this, but they come in different sizes and strengths. And I would just be curious how many people who are on here have bought a Nyla bone for their dog, or dog uses a Nyla bone. I'm guessing there's probably a good amount. They're kind of like Kongs, like. Almost everybody should have one of these.
Yeah, we got all that stuff. One thing I'd like to say about the Nyla bone thing, it does have a life. if you buy the common one that looks shaped like a bone, like a common dog bone, it's got those nubs on the end. Once that dog's worked those nubs off, that thing needs to go, because then it essentially becomes a stick that's small enough to go straight down their throat. So I always recommend either making sure you're keeping an eye on that, or I like the ones that are shaped weird that they sell. I'm a big fan of the Galileo one. It's a big fat bone. There's no way that dog's going to make that into a stick. I have one. I guarantee you it's been in our dog room for 20 years. It just lasts and lasts and lasts. So
yeah, bone for the win.
Yeah. So
yeah, they're good. I've got one of those too. That's just it's not the Galileo. The Galileo is actually I believe the hardest plastic that they carry. So if you have like a super strong jawed dog, like a Rottweiler, Pit Bull dog like that, where they've got incredible jaw strength, like yeah, you would consider that, because those will still last that dog. But I got like the next step down from that. It's just I bought the biggest one that I could buy, and just getting bigger size.
It's a lifetime all you need to do.
Yeah, they can't put as much jaw pressure on it, so they don't do as much destruction to it. And so there's that trick to, your dog toys of look at the size of them. And sometimes you can just increase the size of the toy, and you'll find that it'll change the dog's chewing behavior, sometimes in a significant way. So
another tip on that particular stuff is a lot of people will say my dog doesn't like the taste. Well, I said, well, you didn't interview the dog, but if the dog's not that interested in working on them, they're an easy thing to flavor up. What I'll do is I'll go out in the shop and I kind of beat that thing up with my pliers and put some nicks and cuts in it, and then you can just put it in some broth or whatever, let it dry on a paper towel, and let them have a treat. You can refresh it. You can wash them in the dishwasher.
Yeah,
it's a fantastic toy. So.
You're nicer than me, I think, George, because you're gonna like go and make a stew and let it steep in the stew. I was just gonna tell them that when you give them the Nylabone, don't give it to them the first couple times, so that you create some real desire for it, which is another way. You want what you can't have, right?
Yeah, but you're the mean guy, man.
Apparently. Nice big softy giving them soup and stuff with their bone.
Jeez, I'm stuck in the middle of you guys.
Because I love dogs more than you.
I don't know about that, George. I don't know. Well, I think those are all pretty relevant solutions to getting the Nylabone interesting for your dog. But a lot of times dogs don't like them, and it's because of how it's introduced. And people just throw that bone on the ground to the dog, and the dog kind of looks at it and they go, "Oh, you don't play with this? This isn't one that you and I play with? Oh, well then I'm not really that interested in it. I'll pass. Thing looks boring anyway." So get them engaged, get them interested, tease them with it a little bit, and then put it away for 2 minutes, and then bring it back out and be like, you sure you don't want to? Oh, maybe in 2 more minutes. And then when you give it to them, they're like, well, I can't believe I got this bone. I've been waiting for this thing forever. And then if you want to do some soup with it as well, obviously that's the icing on the cake, or the flavor on the bone, whatever you want to call it. Counter surfing and trash diving is also a very interesting problem. It's dangerous. Dogs get poisoned because they're getting into the trash and getting things out that they shouldn't. They get poisoned getting up on the counters, eating things that they shouldn't. Let's talk a little bit about counter surfing, trash diving, stealing. Why do dogs do it, in your opinion? Jessica.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of times, especially with counter surfing, dogs will tend to learn that the counters are a really easy source of awesome stuff. Same thing, kitchen tables, dining room tables, coffee tables, like all of those things. It's just like, it's a plethora of awesome stuff going on. And especially when, any animal for that matter, but especially a dog behaves in that way and they're rewarded or like self-rewarded and self-reinforced, they're more likely to continue to repeat the behavior. And so, if our backs are turned and there's a, sandwich on the countertop, naturally they're going to be interested in that. Honestly, Andrew, dogs are opportunists at heart, man.
Yep.
They're going to do that 100% of the time.
You give them the opportunity, they will take advantage.
Yes, they will. You know, and if even if the dog has only found food on the countertop once or twice, they're going to keep targeting, going back and looking for that stuff. Same thing with the trash can. There's always awesome stuff that's in the trash can.
Right.
The thing that drives people nuts, I think, is when the dog has learned, and any of you that are watching, I want your comment if this has happened to you. Your dog has learned when you're paying attention to them and when you're not paying attention to them, and they'll literally steal things the moment you turn your back.
Oof.
That's one that drives people nuts. And I'll tell you what, I had a dog before I actually got into dog training. He was a thief. I mean, I can't even describe him any other way. He would steal every opportunity that I got. I adopted this dog from a Montgomery County shelter. A great dog, but he stole from the moment I got him, and it was just something that was almost impossible to break in him because he had gotten rewarded for it so many times early on in his life that he was always willing to keep trying. Like,
persistent.
He was persistent, and he got the turkey on Thanksgiving.
Oh boy,
Dang.
A Christmas Story.
Yeah, he got the turkey on Thanksgiving. Luckily, we did get some of the meat off of it before he got to it, but it was a problem.
Yeah.
But I will tell you, and I hate to say this, but I'm just going to be transparent with you all and our viewers. It's what killed him too.
Yeah.
You know, ultimately, he suffocated to death. And that's a really awful thing to have happen, but it was because he had been astray prior to me getting him. He had to be scrappy and find his own food for however much time it was before he ended up in a shelter and got to me. I had no experience in training dogs at the time. And, you know, quite frankly, I struggled teaching him to not chew stuff up. And eventually, when I started training dogs, I took him through dog training school. And, you know, I got him to stop chewing stuff and stop stealing stuff while I was there and present and watching him, and thought that I had gotten that out of him. But in his later years, I got really lax with him. And that drive was still there to steal. It was still there to steal. And it's ultimately what ended his life. And so, I think that this is a really important thing for people to recognize, that it's not just about like the dog getting stuff off the countertop, but this can really be a dangerous thing for your dog, whether it's poison or suffocation or any of those types of things. So, you know, what would you all tell somebody when it comes to stealing and trash diving and counter surfing? What would be your advice to them?
Well, you know, we agreed to not bring up CRT, but, you know, manage the dog. Awareness is your friend. Okay. I don't like comparing dogs with children, but if you wouldn't let you got a little toddler and you cover up the lights, you know, the electrical sockets, and you put them in playpens, and you secure those children in such a way where they can't get access to those things that can hurt them. You have chemicals probably within 10 feet of you in your home right now, everybody, that can kill your dog. Probably within 10 feet of you if you're at home. Think about it. Look around. Look at just underneath your kitchen cabinet, your bathroom, whatever. There's something there that can do some serious harm. You know me, I'm a garage rat, and I deal with antifreeze. It's very sweet to the taste, and it'll kill your dog dead. It'll kill you too. But I don't make sure. Jess will tell you, I had a spill recently. I was working on the new truck, and I wouldn't let her walk the dogs anywhere near that area until I had got that stuff all cleaned up, because just a few drops can do a lot of damage.
Yeah.
That's what I'm talking about. So awareness, okay? It only takes a second, as you well know.
Yeah.
You know, so, you know, your dog got that turkey. I'll bet you weren't oblivious for more than 10 seconds.
No, I mean, we were there. We were
Right.
there.
Right. So, you know, again, training options, there's many options, not, you know, too many to go into here, but there are training options. We don't have this issue. You know, I've told you, Andrew, in the past, I haven't experienced a tenth of what we fix every day because I'm relentless in my supervision. These are critters and they don't know what to do, and it's my job to make sure they make it. Yep. So, you know, 100%. We don't have counter surfing in our house ever. Yep. You know, yep. we don't have trash diving in our house ever. I did have old Tug that would steal a piece of pizza in a New York second. If you called him on it, he'd suck it down faster. He wouldn't give it up. I could get him to hand me a steak, right? But if it was pizza, I'd say, Tug, what did you do? And he sucked that thing right in there. He never broke of that. It endeared me, you know, but that dog loved his pizza. So,
that's too funny. That's too funny. Yeah. It sounds like you might not have not enjoyed watching him eat that a little bit.
I gotta be honest, I would accidentally leave it out just so I could go through that with him. Because that dog loved that pizza and I love that dog.
There you know what I mean? That's what's up. That's what's up.
I let him get that one pizza and then give him hell for stealing it, you know.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Well, so what should you do if your dogs eat something that they shouldn't? I got a couple things for you. Those of you that are watching this, if you're on your phone, your smartphone, we're going to throw some stuff up on the screen for you here. I'm going to encourage you to screenshot this so that you have this saved in your phone. I know you want to smile and see our faces each time you look in your phone. But no, seriously, screenshot this, take a picture of it, save it in your phone, and that way you never have to look for it. If your dog ever eats something and you're not sure what to do, get in touch with the Pet Poison Control Helpline. Like, you can call your vet, and sometimes they'll be able to give you input over the phone. But time can be of the essence. These are two helplines that you can call. One of them, the Pet Poison Helpline, I believe, is $69 to call them. And then the ASPCA, I believe, is $75 to call them. So if you actually go through and take a look at their websites, I think you'll find that they are pretty in depth in terms of what they offer in terms of help. So that being said, we are going to kind of switch gears here for a second. We have a list that we're going to pop up here for you. You all can also, you can screenshot this, or if you just put a comment in the comment box, when we're done with this, we will send you a picture of this via Facebook or YouTube and get this to you. So if you just give us a comment and say, I want the poison list, this has got a list of foods that are pretty common, that are dangerous for dogs. We also have some plants on here. A lot of this typical household plants and things that you might have around your property. There's some household items, and we have the continuation of trees and shrubs that go along with the plants. So this is just stuff that we pulled from some of these existing websites. So you can find this stuff, but we just decided, hey, let's pull it together for you and just put it in an easy place. And we'll go ahead and just send it to you in a message. And I would really encourage everybody, take it, go through your house, and go through the list and see what's there. And if you see something, go ahead and come up with maybe a different way to store it, or whatever the case may be. We just want to help you guys to be as safe as possible at home with your dogs. And I think that if you instill the proper behaviors in your dog at home, it puts you in a lot better position when you're out in public and other places too, because your dog hopefully has learned how to release things that are in their mouth. One of the things that I would, encourage all of you, if you're working with a dog trainer, whether it's working with us or working with a different company, I would tell you, talk to them and ask them to help you teach your dog how to drop things that are in their mouth that they might be, playing with. I like my dogs to be able to give them food that they really want, and I want my dogs to also be able to spit that same food out that I gave them. I'm not talking about making them throw up. I'm talking about, like, if I give them a treat, I also want to be able to say, spit it out before they actually swallow. And that's doable. It's teachable. And that can be a life-saving measure to teach your dog to drop or out something that they shouldn't have. So if you haven't taught your dog how to spit something out, we can help you with that. And they literally will learn to spit it out if it's done properly, which is the goal. Because if you train that incorrectly, they swallow it and you get the wrong result. And it's really important. So I want to, while we're talking about chewing things up, we're going to kind of put a bow tie on this thing here, and wind things down, getting kind of close to the end of our time here. But of course, any of you who are on here this evening, if you have a friend, family member, somebody else with a dog, we really appreciate it if you share this with them. We ultimately want to help to keep people's pets safe. It's a big part of what we do. Safety first is one of our core values as a company, and something we take very seriously, and why we are where we are today. So please share this with your friends and family. Definitely would appreciate it. We are also going to have a quick product of the month here. So we have recently started doing something called fresh breath treatment with DogiZone, and they're really cool. Like, they're painless, and it definitely improves the dog's breath. But we used to do teeth brushing at DogiZone, and the reality is like, nobody has time to sit and brush their dog's teeth. But this is a really cool product that we wanted to throw out there to you all. This is a water additive. Literally, you take a capful of it, you pour it in the dog's bowl, and it just like magically helps to improve the dog's breath. Really good stuff. And I think that we actually are going to carry this in the retail store. In fact, I think we may actually have some of this stuff now, but definitely a great product. If you're not brushing your dog's teeth and your dog's got bad breath, we highly recommend it. George, Jessica, what else do we need to share with the world this evening about chewing and stealing and just safety?
I'll tell you, you know why they do that? Because they can.
There you go.
Why. That's it in a nutshell.
You did sum it up. You summed that up well. Jessica, I don't know if you can add anything to that.
No. How do I follow that up?
Yeah.
Well, folks, it has been great being on here with you. Had a great time as always. And we'll look forward to seeing everybody next month for another episode of Ask the Doggy Experts Live. If you found tonight educational and informative, we'd love it if you give us a like and a share and pass this on to your friends and family. Hope you guys have a better than great evening, a safe month with your dog, and we are looking forward to seeing you all real soon. Take care.